Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. For those of you that are experienced caravanners or motorhomers, you'll already know how we get water into the caravan or motorhome. For those of you who are new to it, this is what you would use, a water hog or an aqua roll. Generally you'd take this to the water point on the site, fill it with water, roll it back, attach your pump, and that'll give you fresh water into the caravan. The amount of water these hold varies between 40 to 51 litres of water, and once that water's gone, you obviously need to then go and fill it up again. Many sites now have what's called service pitches. They're also known as deluxe pitches or luxury pitches, and what they offer is on the pitch, as well as electricity, you'll also find a water tap and a waste disposal point. Some also have a television aerial socket. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is once you've plugged into the water tap on the pitch, you have a continuous supply of water into your water carrier. You can also get a connection point which will stop it from overflowing. It works like a ball cock, and once the level reaches it, it'll turn off the water. As you can see though, this is still quite a large piece of equipment to carry around, and that's where Colapz have developed the Fresh Mini, and it's particularly used on service pitches. We've ordered one on Amazon, so what we'll do now is we'll get it out, have a look at this Colapz Fresh Mini, and we're going to use it on our service pitch here at Love to Stay. So let's get it out. So here we are, this is how it's arrived. It says on it it's an 8 litre Fresh Mini, and it has a 7.5 metre food grade hose. Let's get into the box. So there we are, as if by magic we're in. We've got some instructions that come with it. We've got the stand, some connections, the 7.5 metre food grade hose. We've got the Fresh Mini itself, which is blue in colour. We've got the ball cock that will go inside, and we've got the Colapz bag. And all these bits, when you're not using them, will pack away flat into this bag. And this is where the Colapz idea comes in, because instead of having the great big water hog or aqua roll, everything should pack up and fit in there. I'm going to put it together, get it on here, fit it up and see how it works. So what I'm going to do is get Jules to come and give me a hand assembling the Fresh Mini. I'm going to talk through with you so we know exactly what we're doing. I don't think it's overly difficult. There are instructions with pictures, but let's just see how easy it is to assemble once you've received it in the post. So here, as I say, this is the 8 litre water carrier. So if we open that up, anyone that's had a Colapz product before will know that the quality of the plastics is extremely good. These things last for years. We've got several items and they're almost indestructible, almost. So the strap there that Jules has just taken off, that's an elastic strap that holds it together when you've collapsed the product. You twist it to open it, as Jules is doing now. They also have a handle on them, and on the top of it is where we're going to find the fill cap for the Fresh Mini. There we go. The Colapz also has a point here as well, and that's a water feed also. We've got a spout as well, so if you wanted to use this to fill a dog bowl as well, it's got that option. And that'd go on there like that. Obviously for now we're going to keep that there as it is. So once we've done that, we need to take our mini ball valve, and with that we remove the locking nut and the washer. Now the locking nut and washer are here at this end, so Jules will take those out. You then insert the ball cock in the hole on the underside of the lid, and the washer C should be positioned on the underside of the lid. And what that means is we keep a washer there, we push that through from the underside. Jules will then put the other washer back on, and then we'll screw the locking wheel nut in place. And that's going to keep your ball valve in the Fresh Mini where it needs to be. The float valve needs to be positioned between the two fins on the underside. So it needs to go there, Jules. We'll just tighten that up. There we go. So that's in place. And what it means is this tube here, that needs to be in there, as you can see. So that's that bit done. We've tightened it up. We've got the washers in place and the ball float is positioned like it is so it doesn't overflow. So that's that part done. So what we move on to then next is, obviously we've decided we want to have our cap fitted, which we've done. We need to then remove this part from the Fresh Mini and we need to fill it with water, it says. So we need to fill it half full, and this is going to stabilise it before we assemble it further. So I'll just let Jules pop back to our water tap and fill it halfway. So there we are, we're half full now, and what we're going to do next, as per the instructions, is assemble the feet for the stand for this, because obviously it does sit on the floor. You want it off the ground and you want to make sure it's secure. And one thing that we want to know is just how secure is this going to be, because it's going to have to withstand the elements. So we're going to be testing that out while we're using it here at Love to Stay. So we open up the feet. The instructions show that they slide together like that. There we go. Now if we put that down, what you want to make sure is when the Fresh Mini goes on it, that the little feet that are actually under the bucket go into the corners here, so it keeps it stable. So Jules will just make sure that it's all connected up. And that should stop it spinning round. So it need to move it one way or the other a little bit, Jules. There we go. Yeah, I've got a foot. So there we go, we're all matched up. So once we've done that, it now says open the hose pipe and attach the auto stop. So we've got the hose here. Now this is food grade. Obviously if you drink from your Caravan tap, this is going to be important. If you don't, it may not be as much of a concern.
That's in relation to being food grade?
Yeah. So we've opened up the hose and we're going to put the auto stop end. This is the auto stop end. One of these ends will go onto one end of the pipe to connect to here, and the other end is going to attach to the water tap on our service pitch. So Jules is going to bob that on.
Not forgetting to put that on first.
So there we go, clunk click and we're in. Tighten that up. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take one of the other parts, which is down here, the auto stop connector, and we're going to attach that here onto the Fresh Mini. Once that's on, we're going to attach the end we've just fitted to the hose pipe onto the Fresh Mini. There we go, it's a nice click so you'll know it's on. And then we're going to fit the other end onto the other end of the hose, and that's going to go down to the tap. And this brings up another question. This obviously is 7.5 metres long as this. So what I want to know is, on a pitch like this where we are at Love to Stay, the tap is right down here at the other end, and we've got quite a long Caravan. So when we've positioned it on the floor, which we'll do in a moment once we've finished this pit, is the hose pipe long enough to reach the tap? We're going to find out. So Jules will just add that bit on. Right, now we're ready to go. What I'm going to do is we're just going to move our water hog out of the way, leaving the pump obviously, because our water pump is still going to be used to fit into here. So we'll move all this out the way, we'll attach ourselves to the tap, and we're going to see if it really does work. So stand by, here we go. So the Fresh Mini is now on the floor. I've got the other end of the hose. Jules is now going to take it down to the tap and get us plugged in. So there we go. The Fresh Mini, it's up, it's ready. We've got the whale pump connected. That's a really good fit, because the problem we have with our water hog is that does not fit around the top because it's such a large circumference, but it does fit the aqua roll. So that's really good that it does fit. Jules is going to turn the water on. Hopefully I'm not going to get totally drenched, but we're about to find out. And then my next question is, what's the water flow going to be like inside the caravan? So Jules has turned the water on. I can hear that coming through. Let's go turn the water on inside and see what happens. So let's turn the cold water on. So there we go, the tap. The flow's pretty normal, how it always is with our whale pump. We've got 8 litres in there. Obviously we filled it halfway, so that'll work out as 4. Will the flow from the tap be able to keep up with the flow through here? This is what I want to find out. Are we going to draw out all those 4 litres? Because if you're having a shower, you're going to use quite a lot of water. And will it be able to fill the hot water tank quick enough? So at the moment, the cold water's running very well. There's certainly no issues there whatsoever. So I've come outside with the water flowing, and as we can see, as the water pumps in, the pressure of it from the tap does cause some movement in the Fresh Mini. That being said, it's still on its feet. So there we go, we've assembled the Fresh Mini, we've put water through it, we've tried it out. The capacity does not appear to be any sort of problem, as long as the flow from the tap is adequate to the flow that's going out through the tap in the Caravan. In terms of how rigid is it on its feet, I don't know. We'd have to test it in some bad weather, and that would be interesting. At the moment also we are on a gravelly hard standing, it's quite uneven. If you were on a solid hard base, then this would be probably a lot more secure. We did have one small disaster. As you can see, my trousers are now wet, which they weren't when we started.
Watch out then, because you're going to get wet.
And that's because what we realised was we didn't get the ball cock correct. It is adjustable, so make sure you adjust it correctly like we didn't. And as a result, I got soaked. So there we go. You may be asking, why do you need this when you can have that? The answer is, this isn't going to be for everybody, but this is useful for many people who do use service pitches all the time, which many do, because it is compact and it is collapsible. If you have a Caravan that doesn't have a front locker, for example, this is a lot easier than carrying that and putting it somewhere in your Caravan. It's also lightweight. People that are worried about payloads, this is a lot lighter than something like that. You've got to remember that not everybody is the same, and so this is going to suit many people. It's not going to be for everyone, but the question is, how much is it? We paid £64.99 for it on Amazon. That's quite a lot of money. However, what you've got to remember is if you're not buying the aqua roll and the service pitch kit, which is probably going to cost you somewhere in the region of £80 altogether, this is quite good value for money. We're going to use it here now for several days and see how we get on, and hopefully we'll be able to use it in the future when we're travelling and using service pitches. So hopefully you found that of interest if you're thinking of buying the Colapz Fresh Mini. I'm going to give it a bit of testing, and if we find anything further, I'll give you an update. But there we are. If you're interested, that's how it works. That's how not to do it. Hope you've enjoyed watching, and as always, we'll catch you in the next one.